Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our next guest. We're talking about the Red Cross. We have Sherri McKinney. She's the Regional Director of Communication with the Tennessee region of the American Red Cross. And so, Sherri, how are you doing?
We are doing well, despite all the efforts of 2020.
Well, yes, indeed. Yes. And obviously still a lot going on as we kick off 2021. Let's start, when you talk about the American Red Cross, give us some history, because obviously a very long legacy, and including in Middle Tennessee as well. So give us a history lesson for the American Red Cross.
Well, the American Red Cross is the world's largest humanitarian organization. While folks are always familiar with American Red Cross, there's also the Red Crescent, which serves internationally. The Red Cross started on a battlefield in the 1800s by Claire Barton, and she was able to serve the soldiers on the battlefield, and that's how it all got started. So we still have a great emphasis serving the military, as well as serving folks for disaster needs, and also, of course, with our blood needs as well.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about a powerful relationship with the NFL that's focused on that very thing here in a little bit. Give us an idea, when you talk about the work you do in Middle Tennessee, go ahead and paint the broad stroke in terms of the number of different ways that you really do power the good and give back and make a difference.
Well, what people may or may not realize is that we do have service to the armed forces. If you're in the service, military service, you probably know this, but most people who do not serve do not realize the impact that our service to armed forces brings for the people of Tennessee that are in the military and their families. Many times, if someone is sick at home and someone's serving overseas and you need to get that person home, folks may think that's the military that gets them home, but actually it is the American Red Cross that's contacted to bring those soldiers and servicemen and women home, so they can be home with loved ones, either for birth of a child or when another family member is ill in the hospital. And we provide other needs for military families as well. We also have our humanitarian efforts for disaster cycle services, which means anytime there's a natural disaster, we're there to provide the support for families so that they can receive the relief they need, the immediate relief they need following a disaster. And we can also bring in disaster health services into this mix. And those are folks who are medically trained, either nurses, doctors. We have psychologists working with us as volunteers who reach out to the folks that we serve as clients to find out if they have any immediate health needs or mental health needs. That is something that a lot of people do not realize that is needed following a disaster. It's literally your darkest day. And so for many folks, they need that help. Then we have, of course, our blood services, and that brings us to this partnership with the NFL that we have going on this entire month of January. The Red Cross supplies about 40% of the nation's blood needs, and it's a constant need. This isn't something that's good for 1 month and we're good for a couple months after that. This is something that has to continue with donors. So the NFL and the American Red Cross are partnering together during the month of January, encouraging folks to come out and donate blood, specifically convalescent plasma, to help those who are suffering with COVID in the hospitals. It has been shown that many times folks can receive this convalescent plasma in the hospital and be on their way to recovery in 72 hours. So we refer to it as liquid gold, and it really is.
Go ahead and carry that since we're on that topic. The 1st through the 20th is kind of the timeline to be entered to win tickets to the Super Bowl for next year. And You also have kind of a watch party package as well that's a piece of this. So talk a little about just some of the incentives for being a part of this.
Right. Everyone who donates blood, any blood product between January 1st and January 31st are entered to win this amazing Super Bowl 2022 package for next year's Super Bowl. Because as we know, this year we probably should not be planning anything like that. So this is for 2022. They'll be entered to win. And also, we're going to be giving away a watch party for the Super Bowl prize for others that donate. And again, this is a wonderful relationship we have with the NFL. We are so thankful that they have partnered with us and they have reached out with us to encourage folks to donate blood. And we have really seen people come out with this convalescent plasma. And what we want folks to realize is that these are folks that are coming forward to donate this convalescent plasma who are healthy following having COVID-19. No one's coming in with COVID. You have to be recovered from COVID and have the antibodies. We are also testing literally anyone who comes in to donate blood. When you donate blood, your blood is tested for the COVID antibodies. And if you are noted to have those antibodies, then we encourage those folks also to come back and donate plasma as well.
Yeah. And January is National Blood Donor Month. And so when you talk about just the timing of it and everything, the synergistic effect of this, there's a powerful story there as well with that regard. Let's go back to the disaster response side and talk about what it takes to mobilize. Because when you look at, you kind of mentioned 2020 and all the difficulties with the tornado and the response there. And even as we kick off 2021, there's already a lot to deal with. Talk about mobilizing all the volunteers and what goes into that in terms of the preparation to mobilize and then the activation on that. So give us a little bit of behind the scenes, if you will, of what it takes to pull this off.
Sure. What I want folks to realize is that the American Red Cross is powered by volunteers. In fact, 90% of our workforce that responds to any disaster on any given day is 90% volunteers. So we rely heavily on folks stepping forward and saying, hey, how can I help? I'm here. I have this gift. Let me help. And we have literally jobs for anybody as far as volunteerism is concerned. You could volunteer to work in the office and help answer the phone whenever people are calling in for help. You can volunteer to deliver cards to people who are having had a home fire and they need immediate assistance. You can volunteer to be a caseworker to help someone work through the god-awful amount of paperwork that they have following a home fire. Also, training services. We have something for everyone. Even communications. We have a need for volunteers in communications. We train everyone for free prior to ever letting them just take on a disaster. We train folks for free. We get them ready to respond. And what happens is a disaster happens and then it is pushed up to national headquarters and we decide on what level of a response that will be. And that depends also on how many people respond as well, of course. And so you may be deployed here in Tennessee to respond to a flood or tornado, or as we saw in Nashville on Christmas morning, a terrible explosion. Or you may be asked to respond to the California wildfires, which we had several people from Tennessee that did respond as far as out west this year, or down to Florida for hurricane damage, or Louisiana. So truly, it's a great opportunity for folks who have that desire and that passion to make a difference in their community and all across the United States. It's a great opportunity for folks to learn more about what it's like to recover and how you can help. So I highly encourage folks to go to redcross.org/volunteer and find out how you can make a difference in the new year.
Yeah, and I think too, it's the ability to raise your hand and really help neighbors, help the community, use your skill sets at the same time. As you mentioned, the training, the preparation, all of that will make you a stronger leader, a more equipped leader who can better respond to disaster, whether that's with your own family, your company, your community. So I think even from a leadership perspective, there's a powerful piece of just training and equipping and preparing individuals to be more proactive with how they can respond in their own personal way.
Yes, and we also work with preparedness as well with the American Red Cross. We like to go out and teach children. Well, before COVID, we would go to the schools to teach children on Pillowcase Project, which is teaching them how to prepare in case there is a home fire. We have services where we would go in and install smoke detectors for folks and we had the Sound the Alarm event. Those are events that have been kind of pushed back or either are virtual at this point. But we are planning to do a smoke detector install event in the coming future in the spring. How that will shake out, it remains to be seen. We're trying to work with local fire departments. So there are training services. There are preparedness classes you can take. Of course, many folks may even know about our life-saving skills that we train for, or even lifeguards and swimming lessons. The Red Cross is behind all of that. And really, many folks, that's the first time that they encounter Red Cross is at a swimming lesson. Mm-hmm. So just know that we're here in the community to make sure that everyone is safe, to respond when we needed, to respond at the worst scenario. And also, we're there to supply that needed amount of blood product so that folks can live another day. If you donate once, 1 pint of blood will save 3 lives. That's pretty powerful too.
Yeah, absolutely. That multiplier effect is huge. You mentioned the spring, you have the Lifesaver event March 3rd. Give a little bit of that with WKRN.
We're very excited to partner with WKRN and Nissan for the Lifesaver show. It's going to be a program on Channel 2 at 7 o'clock on March 3rd, the anniversary of the Nashville tornadoes, which, as you know, we had a huge response with that. And we're still dealing with folks who are recovering from those tornadoes. And so we wanted to not only highlight our work with that natural disaster, but also talk about our response with home fire and educate folks on that. And we're also working with the Titans. We're working with several celebrities that are going to be on the show with us. So we're very excited. It's going to be broadcast again, March 3rd at 7 o'clock, and folks can call in and donate, or they can send their donations early. But it is our largest fundraiser for the year, and it really does determine how far we can go with our services for the next year.
I think we've covered a lot of ground for sure in terms of raising awareness, but what's one other thing that you wish everyone knew about the American Red Cross, especially the work in Middle Tennessee, that they might not know?
You know, I think what people may not realize is that we don't care what race you are, what gender you are, what religion you are. We serve everyone, regardless of your situation. People need to understand this is a great humanitarian organization. This is literally, and I know this sounds corny, but this is the best job I've ever had in my life. And I'm not young. So it is a tremendous job. It's a tremendous organization to work for. It truly is at the heart of doing good for all of the community. And I highly encourage folks from 16 on to please step forward and volunteer. We need more volunteers. We need blood donors. We need community partners. We need corporate partners to support our efforts. So if you have the least bit of want in your heart to do more in your community, the American Red Cross is a great place to start.
So we've definitely covered the volunteerism, financial contributions to underwrite your efforts, obviously extremely important. Talk a little bit more about the corporate partnerships and a few other ways that people can plug in and help.
Right. We have several amazing corporate partnerships here in the Nashville area. I mentioned Nissan. Of course, we have seen great relationships all across the area, from realtors, from banks, you name it. We've been well supported, but we still need more partners. The services, as you know, Nashville's growing. So the need is growing as well. Every day, across America, every day there is a home fire, and we respond to those home fires. And that's our largest disaster that we respond to, are home fires. Lately here in Tennessee, we've seen an uptick of home fires this year, and maybe it's because people are spending more time at home, 25% uptick compared to last year. So we are responding even more. So the need is great. If folks are interested in sponsoring or becoming a partner, a community partner, or a volunteer, anything, you can find it very easily how you can help by just going to redcross.org. and that will take you to the website. And then you can drop down and find Tennessee. It's a great website. It's full of information, educational information for your kids and for you. You could sign up to take training classes. So just know that even in COVID, even though there's a pandemic going on, we're there to help. We need the community to step up as well and help.
Yeah, and to your point, even in the pandemic, there are still things like the bombing, unfortunately, the tornadoes, natural disasters, the home fires, which sadly, to hear that they're on the uptick, all of that needs your response. And obviously to be able to respond, you need volunteers, you need donors, you need the financial contributions, and obviously the blood donors as well. So much need, but yet to your point, such a powerful way to see that return, that impact that you're able to make on others' lives in your community. Wrap up again, you never can say it enough on the radio, but wrap up again on the contact information, the website, where to go.
Sure. If you're interested in giving us your time, your talent, or your treasures, the easiest way to do this is to go to redcross.org/Tennessee. It'll take you directly to our state page. If you're interested in donating blood, you can go to redcrossblood.org and sign up to donate blood there, or you can go out on your smartphone and download our app, our Red Cross Blood app, and make your appointment there. Again, I want to stress that winter is one of our highest need seasons for blood, and it's no different in this pandemic. So again, I want to encourage folks to please come out and donate blood and get involved with the American Red Cross.
Well, Sherri, greatly appreciate all you and your team do and all the volunteers you work with as well. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.